evening, Seven Spot. We're now streaming live with Russ Pursely. I'm in a sunny Evesham. Today, we're going to be talking about Duttons. We're going to be talking about big engines. We're going to be talking about drag strips, gearboxes, torque converters. Russ Pursely's your man. So, over to you, Russ. The first question I'm going to ask you is, why a Dutton? And why have you got into drag racing?
Yeah,
why a Dutton?
Yeah, well, years ago, it's still got an old Volkswagen Beetle L-Reg. It's still got it now to this day.
Really? Yeah.
And but it's been laid up for some years.
Right.
So I put that engine in back at the Beetle with twin turbos stuck out outside and a Renault 5 back end on it. For gearbox. And we all used to go. As time went on, we had a family as such, so I had to get rid of everything.
Right.
And he called one day and he just said to me, "Do you want?" Because like I used to go out in this when it was his.
Yeah.
But it had been stood years in a scrapyard. They'd smashed it up and chucked a rod through outside and everything. They'd been riding it about just in first gear, and because it knocks on in first gear like. But they threw a rod out and it'd been in a scrapyard for a couple of years, maybe longer. So he come and asked me if I wanted it for $2,000. But my wife was at work at the time. On evenings.
I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
Go on then. So he says, "Lend your car then." So he took me over and he come back about 11 o'clock at night. When she'd come home, when he'd come back on trailer, we pushed it round back at house and that, and she got monk on like. But anyhow, it took me a while just to get it going and that. And then when I took it down the road, once I got it going, I thought, "What have I bought here?" It was just, I've never drove it myself.
Yeah.
They're all like rubber bushes, and it didn't only had the 3-link on on the standard Dutton, isn't it? And then the Panhard got it across. All them were like just rubber bushes, like shock absorber things.
Yeah.
So I worked on a lathe, so I made all my new links and put rose joints on ends, left and right hand threads. And it transformed it so. But
what engine did you have in it at that stage? Was that
was a 350 small block, which is still here now. Yeah. We go from where on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
So that's still a runner as such. It's just that it's cracked between a cylinder head bolt to a liner.
Right.
But that engine ran for years and years. That I just kept rebuilding it.
Yeah.
But the threads went because they only drilled and tapped into the waterways on a small block, and it rotted, and I ended up helicoiling it, and then I weakened it as such. So it had only got an 1/8 to the liner, and then it cracked.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But we were racing that then, and I think it was running maybe I-12s or something like that in them days. And when I'd been racing it, the owner of the track come up to me and he said, "You do realise this car's third fastest car here?" I said, "No, like, we're only trying it." But this was years ago. I bought the car in '94. So, so early, I don't know, '98, something daft like that. I joined this an SCC, which is a road legal class. So we used to have to go on cruises, and it's still running to this day. Like,
yeah.
So then I managed to get me the nitrous kit. I got that. That was already on. It didn't work.
I was gonna come on to that. So that's what it used to. Well, that's what it does look like, isn't it? Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah. So tell us about your racing experience, because you've now got that 350. What engine have you got in it now? It's a bit wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically because the block was leaking. I ordered a short motor from America, from that Shafroth Racing, and well, I had everything put on it. So while I got it there, I kept adding things on while it was there. I thought, once I'm done this, that's it. Like, just a short motor without any cylinder head. So it weren't bad priced. But what I forgot all about was the VAT.
And import duties as well if you're bringing stuff in from the States. You can get stung on those. Some get through. Some get through, but most don't.
Yeah, so I think FedEx, they wanted about 800 quid to bring the engine in.
Wow.
So I rang Shafroth back up. I says, do you know anybody who could get it over for me? And he says, leave it with me. And I forgot what price it was, but because like they're in America, he managed to ship it over for me. And I had it delivered to work then. So
yeah.
So that were in 2017. But the other engine had been running since '94, but blown up several times.
Rebuilt. Yeah.
Well, it were all stock, and it were running good times, and everybody was saying to me, "It's going to throw a rod out that," So I bought a scat crank. And a 6-inch rods and everything, and made it into a 383, which was a 6.6. Is it 6.4? I think it is.
I was going to say 6.4 litre, aren't they? 383s.
Yeah, it was 40. It was 40,000 over.
Right. Yeah.
And that ran years like that. Until then, flaming, it cracked when I over tightened this. Yeah, I did all one side, talking it up, then went to the other side, and they just one or two just let go.
You just heard it go, and that was it.
Yeah, it was only 10 milli thick. 3/8.
Yeah.
So that was it then. So I went for this engine.
Tell us about this engine. 434, isn't it? Isn't that about? That's what, 7 litres?
7.1. Yeah.
7.1 litres.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you about the MPG, because if you buy an engine like that, you've bought the wrong engine.
Yeah. I would on a run. I don't know, maybe 14 on a run, something like that.
That's not bad, but I guess it's really low revving though. You've got the torque low down.
Well, it ticks over at 30. Well, I'm riding on streets, it's just ticking over, so I'm not touching the pedal. And I think 60's about 2.5, something like that.
Wow. Yeah. Just lazy V8 grunter, they refer to it.
Yeah. Well, I've got the 3.0 gears in on the back, like, because it used to be a 3-litre Capri back axle.
Yeah.
And I kept that gear in, so it's nice on motorway and things. With my old engine, like.
Yeah.
Because I'd run 9.6s, 130 something, 136 maybe, with the old engine.
Right.
So this has picked its feet up quite a lot, like.
Well, I saw in this current guys, it's running what, 8-second quarter miles, isn't it? About
I8, yeah.
Over 152 across.
The other day I did a 153.6, I think.
Well, it's got to be the fastest Dutton out there, surely.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so, yeah.
And tell us about the chassis, because you must have had to make some chassis modifications to get that kind of power and the engine in.
Yeah, well, the chassis were all made out of. I renewed the chassis,
Right.
the rails and everything.
Yeah.
And I've lengthened it by 5 inches because you were sat right up, your knees nearly touching the steering wheel. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
as you look on your photo there's the bulkheads being cut back where the battery and everything used to be.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it's nearly 50-50. Well, I ain't had it weighed since I've got this big axle on back and a full cage. But it used to be 980, I think. Something like that.
Yeah. And I see you've got the full race cage on now as well. You didn't used to in your early cars. Yeah.
Well, I crashed it in 2008 and put it into an edge row. And a lot of my injuries were caused because I got no front roller loop. The car just went into the edge row.
Yeah, and your face went into the hedgerow as well. Yeah.
So now I've got something in front of me.
Yeah.
It's also sticking the car up so much as well. You know, I used to think it handled okay, but when I put this on, it's so much better.
Yeah. And that's not a limited slip diff on the back, is it?
It is. I'm not sure. It's called a True Track.
Right.
It's similar to a Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
So it's a torque set bias. I think they call them bias torque sensing diff. So you can go on the brake testing machine for MOT.
I've got some pictures of not of the actual crash. We have got some, but we haven't got copyright to use them, so we're quite careful.
Okay. I spoke to Richard, so I spoke to him last night, and he says it's fine.
We'll get some more in, but yeah, you can see your full roll cage there as well. As you said, you've lengthened it. I can't actually quite see that it is longer than a normal.
The length is basically from the bulkhead, from the dash to the seats.
Yes.
Because obviously you're limited to the bonnet and scuttle, aren't you? Like
exactly. Yeah. And you
so
still
all that is.
Yeah. And you're still running the little fly screens as well, because obviously you wear a helmet. Well, you have to for motor.
Not on road, I don't.
No,
they're brilliant. They're not bad. You know, 50 or 60 mile an hour, you're fine.
Yeah. Just deflect enough over your head, really.
Yeah. They're lovely. Yeah. That was crash barrier. Yeah. I ended up getting a new spoiler off Alan Wheatley. I ended up going up to his.
Yeah. He's another Northwest Kit Car Owners Group member. Yeah, Alan's got he's got the V6 in his Phaeton.
Yeah. He got a spare one, but it not used, so I moulded that on.
Yeah. Nice chap, and it always attends all the meets and stuff. Yeah, and it's a nice car as well. Yeah. He's got running boards on the side of his, but really nice car. As I say, he's got the V6 in it, so yeah, a little bit thirsty, but there you
go.
And that was your there's many of the front offside you're waiting to the barrier.
Yeah, she had them bolts off.
Wow.
Onto the onto that blue bit, the 10 mil bolts, it should cut them straight off.
Wow.
Oh, they might. I think they are 10 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cut that straight off with impact.
Yeah.
and ruined 2 of my wheels.
And this is where you had it all redone and
Yeah, that's Mark's paint shop at Ossett.
Yeah.
Good guy and lovely painter.
Yeah. And he's local to you, presumably?
Yeah.
Not far from you?
20 minutes away.
Yeah, yeah. That's ideal. Ideal what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I managed to get them all straightened up.
Yeah.
The guy in York, because I rang Revolution up and Warren said that they didn't make made none of them for 20 years. Because the different the inserts go into them.
Yeah, yeah.
So this old guy straightened them up for me, and then a place in Sheffield CNC'd them for me. A good 700 quid for two now.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And just to be clear to everybody that is watching this is a road legal car. You take it you take it for a normal MOT?
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Do you take the parachute off the back of it for the MOT?
Oh, the parachute's only fitted on when I go racing.
Yeah. And have you ever had to use it?
No.
You thought about it though, haven't you?
No. I don't need to. I've got Cosworth brakes all around it off a Sierra. Yeah. Nice big brakes. It stops quite good. But one of my friends who I race with, his throttle stuck wide open.
Oh, no.
And he was going down the track and he was jumping on brakes and he couldn't, he was doing over 150 mile an hour and still were a twin turbo Camaro. It's still rattling. And he thought he couldn't stop it. He tried turning it off, but it was just like running.
Yeah.
And then he thought, oh no, I've got a parachute. So he pulled that and he stopped about a foot away from wall right at past finish line at Santa Pod.
Wow. And that's, I mean, people talk about Santa Pod being a quarter of a mile, but it isn't. It's over. No. It's way longer, isn't it? It's what, mile and a half, I think?
I would say, yeah. But when we went to look at his car, his front wheel had gone. And it had blown his tyre off, both his tyres off, and his rims, bottom of his rims had gone, and it was running on the disc.
Lovely to meet you. See you at Kit Fest. Can't wait to see your car again.